Raskob Foundation reached out to Chimney Scientists because they have 8 chimneys on the property, gorgeous property, amazing, that I think like 4 or 5 of them were actively leaking.
We've had other masons doing some work here and stuff, but a couple years later, they just started all leaking again. So we decided to try somebody new.
The reason they chose us was because we were actually able to identify the different leaks and what was causing them versus speculating. It was pretty interesting because out of, I think, the 4 chimneys that were leaking, they were leaking for 3 or 4 different reasons. So that was complicated. Tyler was our senior technician that was working on the project from A to Z. He's been with the company for about 10 years now.
Because they used a mortar that was built after 1920, which is too hard for the chimney. So we're grinding it all the way down about a ½ inch so we can repoint it with historic mortar that's specifically made for an older house.
For more intense leaks, more mysterious ones, specifically on historic buildings, I'll often chip off pieces of the material to see what they're made of. I even have the ability to send them to a lab to determine the density, the porosity, and see if they're compatible with what is needed for an older home. And then we actually went into the attic, which was really kind of interesting and unique, where we parged the walls of the attic with historic lime.
That will absorb some of the moisture.
And the reason that we did that is because 5 pounds of historic lime can absorb ½ a cup of water. And some of these leaks were just like a little bit of precipitation and a little bit of water in the attic.
We did the same lime on this side that we did on the other 2 chimneys and the other sides of this chimney too.
Rather than focusing on sealants that would break down in 10 or 15 years, we used historic lime in the attic to allow water to come into the attic, saturate the lime, and then evaporate off.
So we're going to put 8 copper caps on this house. The copper caps will stop any animals from coming in. They won't stand out too much. It'll make it look like keep the historic look of the house. It'll just make it look better.
One of the cool things that we do at Chimney Scientists is a lot of our guys are certified with historic restoration and stone carving. So these chimneys had these beveled marble edges that were degrading and cracked. And our lead technician that was working on this project has been trained and certified to actually carve and reshape these marble beveled edges. And he did a wonderful job of doing that to really give it the original look. But we do this type of work regularly for commercial buildings, specifically historic restorations, but we do everything. So it doesn't necessarily have to be historic, but we work regularly with commercial buildings as well as residential homes.